excited about getting to the Solomon Islands. We did have a fantastic time though in Vanuatu, but it's time to move on, and the Solomons is the next port of call, so we're going to pull into Honiara, and the 3 bigger kids and I are going to fly back to New Zealand for a visit while Dave and Reef look after the boat and do some exploring around Honiara, and then we'll get back together again a couple of weeks later and explore more of the Solomons. Dave and I were excited to be heading to the Solomon Islands, but we had been cautioned by other cruisers not to. There's a perception that the Solomon Islands are not really safe for cruising boats, due to petty theft and an element of political unrest. But just like many places in the world, if you take basic precautions and use your common sense, then travelling in these places can be very rewarding. So before we went to the Solomon Islands, we talked to other cruisers and did our own research, and just gathered some information about the risks involved and things we should probably be aware of. So firstly,
stow away belongings from deck.
Make sure you put all your fishing equipment, any electronics and any diving or snorkeling gear away after each time that you use them. Don't leave them out on deck and expect them to be there when you return if you've left the boat.
Lock outboards to the tender and the tender to the boat.
These items are incredibly valuable to people living in the islands, but if we lose them, we've essentially lost our car, which is very difficult to replace.
Leave lights on deck overnight in anchorages.
This won't stop a potential boarding, but it's a very good deterrent.
Take basic mosquito precautions.
Things like don't wear perfumes, cover up, wear a DEET repellent, and anchor a good distance offshore, and try not to be caught onshore at dusk.
And be aware that saltwater crocs call the Solomon Islands home.
We're making really good progress towards the Solomon Islands, and finally, just this morning, this is day 3, we can see land on the chart plotter. So we're getting there. We're nearly there. But we have to go past quite a few islands in order to get to Honiara, which is not very close at the moment, but that's okay because we're making it. We've got a following sea and just the Genoa up, and it's been really good sailing. We've had one squall last night that we managed to avoid mostly. It just went over us, but it wasn't that big, but it kind of got bigger as it got past us, but that's okay because that's past us. It's a good sail. That's pretty exciting. Are you really looking forward to going home?
Yeah, because we've got exact a week left.
You've got what, sorry?
We've got a week left until we have to be on the plane.
Oh, that's right, yes. It's Thursday today. We fly on a Thursday.
We're staying 2 weeks. And
nearly 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Mummy's organised us three to go to school for the day.
And that's so funny that you're looking forward to that. Q flags up. Right now I think our chart plotter is playing silly buggers, because when we zoom in to go and see the harbour disappears, which is not exactly helpful. I guess we could just go muscle in next to some of those other green triangles, but so much more helpful when we have that view. But really we want to be in here and zoom in on there a bit, but we can't. We anchored, then set out the next day to check into the Solomon Islands. We checked out the extensive markets, chatted to some local carvers, avoided the beetle nut spit on the pavements.
Oh, what you got there?
How old have you turned, Reef? 5. Oh, I love this. I love this one.
Well, this is birthday morning,
Hey, new Play-Doh.
playing with our Play-Doh.
Mummy, I made a 12. I made 12. I made 12 here. Reef, can I
Well,
please
well
have the
done
roller?
you. How was your birthday, Reef?
Great.
It was great.
Yeah.
Did you do some cool stuff?
Yes.
What was your favourite part of the day?
The part when I was opening presents. Then I had for my presents.
What?
I had some pins and I got some glow sticks.
Did you?
Yes, and I also got Play-Doh and a ruler.
And a ruler.
And a ruler, yeah.
Good boy.
Well done.
We're gonna do that again.
Yeah, and we decided not to ice the cake because
We were too hungry.
we were too hungry, and it's because it's so hot here that we just knew it would melt. Yeah, you are rowing the wrong way.
I just shot a slug gun right in the bullseye.
Did you?
I got it right there.
Is that the first spot? The first one?
That's the first one's over here.
First one's over this, second one's over there.
Oh.
Careful, don't point it at anybody at all. And you pull the hammer down before you shoot.
So what we all found good is crouching right down and resting your arms.
Rest your arms on that hole.
You've got to bend right now, that's it.
And you're aiming through a little slot and put that other bit in the middle.
Pull down.
That's it.
That's it. Now hang on.
Oh, get
hang
your
on.
thumb out of the way.
Yep, that's it.
Don't look at it.
Good.
All too soon, our time in New Zealand was over. It was time to head back to the Solomon Islands, the rest of the family, and And what was that actually called?
It's a mangrove family, part of the mangrove family.
Mangrove family.
Yeah, but we call that petu in our
Petu.
language.
Mum, you need to see this clamshell.
I need to see the clamshell, do I?
Yes, it's ginormous.
Miss Ray?
Wow! That's incredible.
If you put your hands in down there, it might suck.
So Dave, what exactly are your concerns regarding this coconut crab?
It's huge and it has massive pincers. And I don't think we'll get it in the pot without a fight.
So who do you think is going to win between Dad and coconut crab?
Coconut crab.
Well, I hope not, because that might mean that Dad loses parts of himself.
I'm going to win.
You gonna win?
I'm going to win.
I have faith. I have faith.
I'm going to win.
Use your muscles. I'm gonna get.
I would say just don't use your fingers.
I won't use my fingers, I'll use someone else's fingers.
You think a glove's gonna help you?
I do. The glove's going to make me feel better.
Well, you're bulletproof now.
I've got to do what I like.
I'm just gonna have to kill.
And they jump. Do you know that?
No, I don't know that. Do they?
I don't think he's gonna fit in your pot,
I'm
honey.
selling some of my seeds. Oh my gosh, that's big.
Oh! He doesn't want to be in there. Pot's not quite big enough, is it?
Mate, you're going to get him in, mate. Interesting.
Oh, there he goes. He did not want to be in there.
These nippers are hairy.
They're a bit hairy. It's a bit safer to see it now, though, isn't it, Reef?
Those are not nippers. These are nippers. It's hot though.
Is he hot?
Yes.
Well, we've just cooked him, darling. Wow, listen to that bush. Hey, boys.
Very shy.
Are you coming with us? Yeah. Make sure we don't get lost. Just another tropical storm, keeping us inside. We did go swimming in this earlier, but this is happening every day for us at the moment.
It's been really hot here, but there's also been lots of storms as well.
What are they like?
Not very nice. A couple of days ago we had a lightning strike like 50 metres from the boat.
That's pretty close.
Yeah,
But we didn't evacuate the boat, did we? And we
No.
didn't get struck by lightning.
no.
But it was pretty close, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we did have to check to make sure all of our electronics worked.
Yeah.
It was all good. What did you do during the storm?
Make sure that the boat didn't fill up with water. The rain was horrendous. It started with just the going slightly grey, the clouds, and you could say, oh yeah, there's a bit of a storm coming. And then the wind picked up like you would not believe. It went from 0 to 30 knots in a matter of seconds, and stuff started flying off the deck. I had to dive off the back and retrieve the surfboard and a plastic bucket, and then straight back on, and there was no time to play around. Then it was just basically tying everything down and making sure nothing else was going to fly off the boat.
We've just had our 7th boatload of carvers come to try and sell us their wear here in Morovo Lagoon. And it's a beautiful place to come and visit and swim and snorkel. But we have been visited a few times now, 7 times. And but this time around we traded some fruit and veg for some money, and then but also we traded a kill switch for an outboard for a carving.
Unfortunately though, it does make you feel quite uncomfortable because they're pretty persistent.
Join us next time as we enjoy more of Morovo Lagoon and explore more of the Solomon Islands.